their head, but also be able to provide a continuous service to help them with a social issue that we need to address. But it's not a one-size-fits-all issue. The limited amount of money, we need to really decide how much should be spending on the rapid rehousing and how much money we need to spend on job training and how much money we need to spend on the rehabilitation, how much money we need to spend on mental health services to really have a long-term solution.
Gotcha. So, yesterday, I think few days back, I think yesterday or a day before yesterday, I don't know exact date. I mean, governor was talking about key to the homeless people. I mean, converting the hotels rooms, buying those hotels, and then putting this, homeless people in some of those hotels, or motels. So, can you talk a little bit more about that, if possible, please?
Yeah, that's right. The state have allocated. I can't remember the number, but it's a huge amount of money.
$100 million, something of that kind. Okay.
Is that 2 million or 1 million something to buy some of the vacant hotels, and this is something we've been doing for a long time. We even when I was on the San Jose City Council, we negotiated with a lot of hotels and motels, and to provide vouchers for those homeless people to have a place to live. But again, the intention at that time was is more for what I call the rapid rehousing, and we allow them to stay there for 90 days and to pretty much get their life back on their feet. But this proposal initially was to help with the homeless people, to provide a good social distance, to provide a quarantine if they were tested positive for the COVID-19 virus. And we're trying to step up a notch to allow them to stay there for a longer period of time, again, to help them to get back to their society. So there will still be a time limit of how long can you stay in this hotel rooms, and again, it is a transitional housing, trying to get more people to be able to get back on their feet and go back to the community and have a better living. It's not a permanent. It's not it's a temporary housing, but we have enough timeline for them to learn the skill they need, find a job and get back on their own.
Gotcha. Okay. Going back to the education, I mean, again, California is doing very well in many sectors. But when it comes to the education, the school systems are in the top list from the bottom. So, so what is that? In spite of spending so much of money, and why is that California is still on the bottom? Is anything which government doing to improve the education system in California?
Yeah, that's again, go back on the Proposition 13, limit the growth of the property tax. The state doesn't take a penny out of the property tax. The property tax is all spent on the local government and the education and the local school district. The state is more rely on the income tax and sales tax. But income tax and sales tax, it could vary from year to year, whereas property tax is a much more stable revenue for education. But because of Proposition 13, the increasing of the property tax cannot catch up with the inflation. And so after Prop 13, the state, the voter of the state also passed a Proposition 98. Proposition 98 is to say if the local property tax cannot fill the need of the education, and then the state will have to move our income tax to pretty much fill up the glass. So as a result, more than 55%, even during a good economic year, more than 50% of our state revenue are going into education. We know if more than 50% of a family, of 50% of their income are spending on one area, the other areas could suffer. So the fact that we our spending per pupil spending in California is low, I think it's all because of Proposition 13. Now, on the November ballot, we call the Community and School First Initiative, which is to change the tax structure for industrial and commercial property. So we'll be able to assess their property value and increase their property tax separate than the residential property. So hopefully that will bring more revenue to the school, to the local government.
Gotcha. So when it comes to the, property taxes, I know the property tax percentage-wise is less, but if you look at the Bay Area, especially, the average house value of the house is more than $1 million. So that should yield a decent money, isn't it? Out of curiosity, I'm asking you. So how come there's still the less money?
No, the Prop 13 says that I think it was becoming a law in 1978. Okay, so unless you have a transaction, you sell the house to the new buyers, this county cannot come in and reassess your property value. So, people have the house in 1978 are still paying the property tax level, based on the 1978 property value, not today's value. And so the initiative of the School and Community First Initiative is to change that assessment for commercial and industrial property. So the county can go in and reassess their property value and impose a property tax based on the most current market value of those industrial and commercial properties. But if you have the property back in 1978, you're still enjoying a very, very low property tax.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you very much for clarifying it. But there is one more recently, another topic on education has come up in California, which is ACA 5 and repealing the 209 in the House. I think it looks like House has passed that bill. So can you elaborate a little more about what is this ACA 5 or repealing 209, please?
Yeah, the Proposition 209 is abolished the higher education or a workplace to look at the ethnicity of the applicant to kind of a colorblind proposal. You cannot look at the color of the people or their ethnicity to determine on the admission to the higher education or to offer them the job or not. And so this ACA 5 is to revoke that Proposition 209, and was saying that when consider the college admission and when consider a job application, you have to look at the ethnicity of your applicant, and to the intention is to give those